My name's Lionel Gammon. I live in northern Utah, and I have a story to tell you. Not too long ago, I was cleaning out my grandfather's barn, and I found a vintage Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
God, there it is. Welcome home, baby girl.
My plan is to put this Harley-Davidson back on the road where it belongs, and I'm going to bring you along with me. So come along with me on this adventure as I learn to build and put a motorcycle back on the road. And I'm going to call it Barnyard Bike. So it's been a year. A year ago, I found a 1988 Harley-Davidson in my grandfather's barn. And now I'm riding the same motorcycle to the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, but it's not the same motorcycle. My intention was to take this motorcycle and just improve it. Put it back on the road, make it roadworthy. And instead, one thing led to the other, and we tore the entire bike down. So let me show you what it was like as we tore this motorcycle down from stock as a barn find to, well, I'll show you what it looks like now. So I've told a couple friends of mine about this motorcycle and what I found, and they're really excited. And I'm gonna ask them for some help and some guidance. One friend in particular, he's been riding motorcycles for the majority of his life. He actually worked at a Harley-Davidson dealership, so the guy knows the ins and outs of motorcycles. I'm gonna spend some time, gonna go meet up with him, have a conversation, and maybe pick his brain on what is the right path, what is the right procedures to take an old bike that's been long since forgotten and breathe the life back into it.
Bill,
Lionel,
what's going on, man?
how are you, man?
Good, it's good to see you.
Great place to come to.
Hey, how do you pass up some ice cream?
I'm telling you.
Let's go get some though. I'm not gonna stand here, it's too hot. I
I'm
want
telling you,
ice cream.
it's pretty warm out there on a black bike.
All right, so Bill, here's the reason why I brought you to get some ice cream. Not only is the ice cream good, but I have found a motorcycle in my great-grandfather's barn. I've tore it out, I've assessed kind of what it is, and it's a 1988 Softail. And I want to get this bike back on the road. Now, I know your history in Harley-Davidson, and quite frankly, you've got a history that I don't have. So I'm coming with a bribe of crappy pistachio ice cream to get you to help me in figuring out where to take this bike, what to do with it, and how do I get it back on the road.
I think it's going to cost you more than one ice cream cone, buddy.
That was
It
a double
sounds
scoop.
It sounds like a big project. You know, the one thing that kind of appeals to me is, one, is that you're going to finally get a bike back on the road.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit. But the second is, in our industry and what we do, talking to all of these people, shop owners and everything else, why don't we reach out to some of the ones that we've got our best relationships with and ask them to help us out, get some of their input. I mean, a lot of them deal with the older stuff. You know, my bike's a little bit newer. I know a little bit more on that one than I do some of the older bikes, but man, if we could get, you know,
So
like
kind of like a
X,
mentorship.
a mentorship, exactly.
Get them
Get
to
their
teach
ideas.
and coach me on what to do. Because
And
they
they-
know better than anybody.
Not only that, but they're going to know all the tricks of the trade.
So, not knowing what to do, Xavier from Providence Cycle Works stepped up and coached me and gave me some very important tips on how to keep myself on track and to keep myself moving.
And little by little, once you start cutting away, then you have to understand not to cut too deep, because you want to be able to take a flat disc or some sort of angle material remover so that you can keep that roundness. Because once you go too low and you make a flat spot on a round piece of tubing, then you got to go back and put material on, which requires welding. So
Gotcha.
in just my experience, it's easier to leave a little bit of height so that you can start to finesse. Because a lot of that stuff, I mean, I never had the tools that I have now. I was doing that stuff with a file, like literally a hand file, just because that's the way the old timers did. That's the way that they taught me. And then I was like, this sucks. I'm getting a big compressor and some tools because I'm not doing this. I'm not spending 4 days working on a backbone.
So he taught me to stare at a blank bike, let the bike speak to me, and he taught me to get a whiteboard. How dumb is that? But literally a whiteboard to track my progress. So when I walk away from the motorcycle and I come back to it, I know where I was at. So that's what I did. I don't know any different. So I'm following the inspiration and guidance I get, and that's what I did. Whiteboards installed, tracking and documenting everything along the way, and taking the first step, which is now tear the motorcycle down and let it speak to me.
What if I'm injured in a motorcycle accident?
Call Law Tigers.
What if I can't get this paper jam to clear?
Don't call Law Tigers.
What if the vehicle hit me on my motorcycle and I smack my head?
Definitely call Law Tigers.
What if I get a paper cut?
Were you on a motorcycle?
No, but I used to own a moped.
Still, don't call Law Tigers, and please, get it together. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers before you call your insurance company. Law Tigers, Arizona's motorcycle lawyers.
If you're just joining us, we're taking you from the whole process of building a custom motorcycle that you find in a barn to riding at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, and we're about ready to show you what the bike looks like. So of course, building a motorcycle, you have to have parts, and I got totally hooked up with a sponsor in Dennis Kirk. Dennis Kirk invited me out to their warehouse. I was able to tour it and do a little shopping, if you will, more like shoplifting, and I was able to get all the parts I needed to actually put this motorcycle together. And honestly, this could not have been done without the great partner, Dennis Kirk. And I'll tell you what's cool about Dennis Kirk is they literally say, order today, ships today. They don't want you to wait for your parts. They want you to ride. That's a company I can get behind, and that's what they did for me is everything I needed was here immediately, and it got this bike put together.
All right, let's start with your exhaust.
Okay?
Let's see here.
It's a good...
This be the one.
You're gonna make me lug this stuff. Let's go. I'm stacking parts in my hand. I'm not gonna lie to you, some of this stuff may not even fit this motorcycle, but when you're here in a shopping spree mode, you're grabbing as much as you can grab. So hopefully everything I've got will fit. If not, we're gonna have to use some of the builders to help us out to make it fit. I can't even see, man. So we're back in the store. All right, man. Hey, Chef. Boss man doesn't know. Grab some stuff. Grab that backpack right there. Hurry. Pile it on. Keep going. Grab that. I need a shirt. Yep. Give me a shirt. Another helmet. Yep. Need a lid. Hurry. Pile that on here. How about those? Hey, how about those forward controls right there?
Oh, how about that?
Get those controls on here. Pile it on. Nobody knows.
All right, there we go.
Got him?
Got it?
All right, let's go.
Sure?
Yeah, we're good. Hey, I'll carry more. I don't care. Let's go. You just get that door for me. All right, we love you, Dennis Kirk. I'll punish the website again. So of course I screwed up. I got all these parts, things that I want for the motorcycle. They're great. It's gonna work out awesome. But I flew here on an airplane, and I know TSA is not gonna let me check a whole pile of motorcycle parts. So I'm gonna go back inside. I'm gonna drop these parts off with the guys here at Dennis Kirk. I'm gonna truly test them on the order it today, ship today, and I'm gonna race my parts back to Jack Wagon Ranch to see who gets there first. So last year I had the opportunity through work to go on the High Seas Rally. It is a 100% motorcycle rally on a cruise ship. We literally parked the bikes and got on a cruise ship and had a wonderful time. But I had to go with a purpose, and my purpose was to see if I could find more builders. I had a couple guys behind me already helping and supporting, and I had to find more to help me get this bike moving. Hey, I appreciate you, man. I know I pulled you away from the pool. I know that's like total party foul when it comes to a cruise, but I had to do it because I know I sat there at that welding class with you and learned more, and knowing who you are, Rick, and what you do, I had to come and wrangle you away from the party and, you know, and tell you a little bit about my project I'm working on and see if I can get your guidance and see if I can get your support. So yeah, I am like putty in your hands, like guide me, teach me. I would love to learn from you guys and what we can do. You know, we're trying to put this together and make it something that's just, you know.
Well, you just need to come to the shop.
Don't threaten me with a good
You come
time.
to my shop, there ain't no reason to buy wheels. We build our own wheels. Pat builds fenders.
Dude,
Why would
that's
we not
true.
do
You
this?
could just go to Rick's start or a shop and get a head start on it. Figure out what you guys need. He'd come to my shop. I'll teach you how to spin fenders.
Done.
Dude,
Like, we're not going to do the work for you, though.
No,
That's
no.
No.
I
You're
want
getting dirty.
I want a chicken crap welded in and everything else.
Absolutely.
And you make me grind it away and fix it. I'm in. If you guys are willing, let's do it.
1,000%.
So while on the cruise, I literally met my long lost brothers, Rick and Pat. I love those guys, and I spent time with each of them in their shops building one-off custom parts for this motorcycle. And let me tell you, those guys not only know how to party, but they know how to build some motorcycles. And we did some partying in the Dominican Republic, and we built some killer motorcycle parts at their shops.
The only thing standing between you and the open road is some garage time with the right parts and accessories to make your motorcycle roar. And that's why riders everywhere choose DennisKirk.com, the one stop you need to get your Harley back on the road. Our knowledgeable tech staff will help you navigate our more than 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories that are ready to ship today, with free shipping on all orders over $89. So tune up your ride and get ready for the next adventure. Ride more, wait less. Dennis Kirk.
This is a special edition of Barnyard Bike, jam-packing the entire build into one episode to show you exactly how we went from barn to rally.
Bert literally called me and invited me out to his manufacturing plant. So I was able to jump on a plane. This is where the magic's happened. This is where Bert built and created Baker. It's all started here. He's invited me to come down here and build a transmission.
Hey, Lionel, what the hell's going on, man? Utah Flash. The Flash from Utah, man.
Hey,
What's
I
up?
had to get down here. You said to come down.
Michigan, and are you crazy? Michigan in January?
Hey, it's
Oh,
better
dude.
than Utah. I got snow all over the ground.
Is that
You
true?
don't have any snow.
Is that true? What altitude are you at?
We're about 6,000 feet.
Oh, you're up in the
Yeah, so we're up there a little bit.
Why are you here?
I come here
Why
on dry
did you
roads.
come
I say,
here?
why aren't we riding right now?
Yeah. Well, I got to put you to work, man.
Well, let's do it. That's what I'm
so
here for.
come here, man. I got to put you to work. Come here.
I hope we've got transmissions we got to turn out.
We got a job to do, and you need to keep your mouth shut and your ears open, and we're going to make it happen, Captain. To confirm, we're talking about a 1988 Softail.
Yep.
That's in reasonably original condition.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's fairly untouched.
I brought some show and tell.
See, that looks familiar.
It should.
Because that's what I pulled off.
It should look very familiar, and it's also problematic.
Okay.
But the choice is yours to deviate from this tapered style main shaft, which is the one they used from. It's from 1985, 89 and a half. They used this style taper main shaft. In 1990, they migrated the design to this 18-2 spline.
Okay.
The clutch fits on here, the clutch hubs, and then a big nut secures it to the shaft with a key. It's called a tapered fit. The tapered fit works great as long as that nut torque is good. If it backs off a little bit, the tapered fit will spin the clutch hub, and then it'll maul that key, it'll maul that keyway, and it'll mess everything up. And you'll be by the side of the road. You're from Utah.
Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot of wide open spaces,
Oh, yeah.
and you'll the point at which this breaks will be the point at which you lose cell service and you're in the middle of nowhere.
That's where I like to ride. Are you out away from everybody?
Right.
So it freaking happened. I had to leave. I didn't want them to see me freak out in the car. I get in there, Bert's waiting right for me at the gate, right at the door, takes me in, no pleasantries whatsoever. It's down to business. And he takes me, I gotta stop here, this is exciting. He literally takes me in the back and shows me, boom, introduces me to Fudge, his main guy, and throws me into the wolves. We literally built an N1 6-speed transmission for my Barnyard bike. So not only is it an Evo motor, I got cars coming behind me. They don't understand how excited I am. I don't care about you. I gotta pull over here. They don't understand how cool this is for me. I now have built my very own Baker 6-speed N1 drum going in my very own bike, and I gotta do it with Bert at his shop. I am beaming. It was so cool to see all of the parts, how they come together. And listen, they did this the right way. They had everything lined out for me, and I got to do it all. I was able to put the gears in. I was able to put the snap rings in. I lubricated it. I was able to run it for the first time, shifting through the gears. Yeah, it was just a drill spinning it, but I made sure that it was right. And by me, they did. But I filled out my own spec sheet. My own tech sheet was signed by Bert, so I know it was done. He says it was done right. So now I've got my very own Baker 6-speed N1 drum coming back to me, and it's gonna be in my bike. I don't know how I could end this trip any better. Coming here to Michigan was awesome. I will do it 10 times over again if I get to go back and build transmissions with him. And to see his operation, top notch, love every minute of it. I'm now one step closer to getting this bike ready to taking it to Sturgis.
I was blown away by Ryan Gore at Paper Street Customs. This guy invited me out to his place in Colorado and let me build some parts with him. But not only did I get to build parts, this guy knew about my brand, so the brand of my cattle, and he actually had custom foot controls that he built with my brand in them. This is gonna take my motorcycle to the next level because it actually is my cattle brand on this motorcycle. My arm was twisted by Jason Mook at Deadwood Custom Cycles. He wanted to be a part of this. Unsolicited, this guy invited me to his place, but before he invited me, he actually shipped me a crate so that I could take my motor to his shop and start tearing down and building this motor, which happens to be the heart and soul of this motorcycle.
Oh, look at that, safe and sound.
Do you know how nerve-wracking it is to pack a motor away?
It is a little rough looking. We should get it on the ground. There we go. It really doesn't look like any issue at all.
Well, I'm scared because this bike's been parked for a long time, and I have no idea what it's going to look like internally.
It definitely needs some love. 1, 2, 3. Oh. There we go. Oh yeah.
Listen, it wasn't that dirty when I put it in there.
All right, so all we're gonna do is we're just gonna get this up onto the stand. Kind of like that, you know. I think it's got potential.
I think it looks like a polished turd right now.
I think it's got potential.
Of course, a motorcycle has to be painted, and James Patience at Ground Zero Customs came through in spades. That guy invited me to his place in Idaho, and we fully painted this motorcycle, and it is beautiful, and it's exactly what I envisioned with the exact colors I wanted.
Dude!
So that's it.
Are you kidding?
We'll get it all wet sanded and polished out, but that's really...
I mean, like That black is just, you don't even realize it's there.
Yeah, that's what it'll be like. And then in the sun, the black will just look like a shadow more than anything. So in the light, it's going to be beautiful. And when you actually see it in the sun, that's going to look like a teardrop, and the side's still going to be dark. The green's going to change multiple colors because the black shade is multiple steps.
Yeah, I mean, that black doesn't even do justice right now. I mean, it's not even doing its job because it doesn't have enough light to hit it.
So looks super dark, could be really pretty in the sun.
Oh yeah.
But now we go in, we let it flash off, cure, and then we'll wet sand the whole thing down, give it a good polish, and it'll be ready for you.
That's amazing. Dude, I am blown away. To think what we talked about and now what we've come to.
That's how it always
goes.
goes.
And again, that color from Orion I thought was awful.
Yeah.
I thought this color was not going to be what this is.
On the website, it just doesn't portray it as pretty as it is. It's such a nice color.
I'm so glad we went with the candy. Like, you educated me on that. I wasn't sure what that all meant and what that all went into. And
it's a nice classic look, but it still looks traditional. It's timeless. It'll be, I know initially we were talking about putting a bunch of graphics in here, and as soon as we saw it mocked up, it had to go this way.
Yeah, it was a good call. Okay, man, so I absolutely love it.
Awesome.
I mean, I can't thank you enough, and I've wasted your entire night and morning now, and I think you've got 3 hours till you've got to clock back in.
I got to start work at 3.
And so, man, I'm literally, let's wrap this up. Do we need to do anything? Do we need to let it just be here?
It just needs to be for a little bit.
The fact that you knew the color, you knew the thought, and you took the original idea and said, no, that's not right, let's do this. And I didn't fully understand it, even when you told me in the parking lot, and I'm like, oh wait, okay, I'm starting to grasp it. But dude, this is perfect. I mean, this is better than I ever imagined.
Yeah, it's cool. It's going to be really nice addition to everything you've already got going on there. So,
okay, I'm headed out of here.
Okay,
go to bed.
Awesome.
Your wife's waiting for you.
She's probably asleep now.